Hello everybody, welcome to another video. So in this video we'll talk about the differences between div and span elements in HTML. So this video might be a little bit more on theory, like practical, because we have not learned CSS. So you may find it a little bit difficult to understand it, but I'm trying to explain it in a simple way. The first one is span, which is used inline container. It is an inline container and is used for styling purposes. So for this styling, we will talk in details when we reach to CSS, because CSS is used for styling. And div is also a block container for styling purposes. They are both for styling purposes, but there is a difference between them. Span is an inline container and div is a block container. I will try to explain it in a practical example. So first of all, let's have an each one. This is a span container or a span element, and I will copy this. This is a div. So as I told you, in HTML you cannot distinguish the differences between each of them. So first of all, the first one I will separate it in span tag. So you open the tag and you write span, and then you cut the closing element to the end of this. Let's have for the div as well, and we will close it here. So if I refresh my browser, you will not see any changes, but the first one is span, the second one is div. So I will use CSS in this tutorial. You don't need to understand the CSS now because we did not talk about it. Just learn the differences between span and div. So I will write a style CSS. I will write it background color red, or let's have it tomato. If I refresh, you see that the background color is changed, and the same thing I apply for the div element, and I will change it to blue. Now blue is very dark. Let's have it cyan. Now you see the differences is here. One is an inline container, and you see that it did not contain the whole space of this element. And div is the block container. It means that it blocks the whole line or that space to itself. You can also apply them in p tags as well. Let's have paragraph. I will write it. This is a span paragraph, and I'm gonna copy and paste it for div. This is a div paragraph. Let me write it instead of copying. So you write span, the opening and the closing tag, and you write div, which stands for division. So I will again copy this style, and they should have a space between them, and let us have it cyan. So you see that you can apply the span and div inside an h1 heading elements and inside the p for paragraphs. And I will have another example that might be more clear. Let's have a p paragraph, and I will write lorem because it gives me a pre-built text. And inside this, for example, I want to have, after this line, I want to have like a highlighted text. So you can achieve that by the element that we studied in the previous video about, you can mark it as well, and also you can use the span as well. So I will come here and write span. I bring the closing tag. For example, up to this stage, I want to have a kind of another maybe color, because if we study further, if we study about the CSS, so you can style that your paragraph like this. So again, I will have this style inside my span. If I refresh the page, you see that from here up to here it is being marked, or it has this background color that we modified for this, and it is used span. Let's have another paragraph and have a long text. Now for example, I want to have just these these 4 words should be marked or in different background color. So if I use div and have this closing tag here or anywhere that you want, and apply this CSS. Now if I refresh the page, see what happens. This is the difference between span and div. Span is used for inline. It does not contain, it does not separate the text for having the block, and div is a block container. It means that it blocks, or it takes the whole space of that. For example, if we talk more technically about it, span is started from here up to here. It ends here. But div has started here and it contains the block. It contains all this line. Because we did not talk about the CSS yet, so it might be a little bit difficult for you to work on practical projects. But just learn the differences between span and div. It's all about today's lesson. See you in the next video.